Good day everyone! In this video, the content will focuses more on solving inverse function. Let's start with its objectives, the objectives of our lesson. First, we define what is inverse function. Second, we recognize the notation for the inverse function. And third, we solve equations involving inverse functions. Starting with the definition of inverse function. An inverse function is the relation formed when the independent variable is exchanged with the dependent variable in a given relation. And we need to remember that the inverse of a function may not always be a function. No? For example, we have a given function, and if you're going to solve for the inverse, it is not necessarily that the inverse of a given function will always be a function. It depends on the situation. And if you can see this figure, we say, or we read this one as f inverse of x. Moving on to the steps in solving inverse function. First, we are going to replace f of x to y. Again, replacing f of x to y. Second is to interchange x and y. Third, we are going to solve the new y from the equation in step 2. And lastly, we replace the new y with f inverse of x, which is the inverse of a given function. And basically, the step 4, it is here, we're going to derive our final answer. Starting with our first example, we have find the inverse of f of x, which is equal to x minus 4. Take note that in step 1, we need to replace f of x to y. So you have it here. F of x now turns to y, and just simply copy the remaining expression. We have y is equal to x minus 4. After that, take note that in step 2, if you remember the step 2, we are going to interchange y and our x, which means y will be placed here and x will be placed here. We are just simply interchanging their positions without changing the values, because if you're going to change it, for example, x, and when you transfer x here, it will be negative x. No, it is not allowed. Just simply copy its original form as we interchange the value x and y, or the variable x and y. So as you can see here in our step 2, we already interchanged the position of x and y. After that, we need to solve for the new y. Remember that our y is on the right side, and in doing that, we are going to apply now the equality rule. So in order for us to solve for y, we're going to apply here the subtraction rule of subtraction property of equality. Let me show you here. When we have x is equal to y minus 4, in order to transfer y to the left, we just simply subtract y here, minus y, and minus y on the left side also. We don't have a space, so let me give a space for y. So you have it here, x minus y. And after that, we're also going to apply addition property of equality by adding, we are going to subtract x because x is positive here. So as you transfer that to the right, it will turn to negative minus x and minus x here. Okay, which means we cancel out x to the left, cancel, and then y will be canceled here on the right. Therefore, the remaining equation will be negative y is equal to the negative of x minus 4 as we rewrite them. And that is located here in step 3. Look at the form. Negative y is equal to negative x minus 4. After that, as you can see, our y is expressed into a negative sign, which means we will multiply negative 1. Okay, I forgot to write negative 1 here, so there should be negative 1. And as you multiply negative 1 to our whole equation, negative y multiplied to negative 1 will be y. Negative x multiplied to negative 1 will be x. Negative 4 multiplied to negative 1 will be 4. And after that, that is, we're almost done. We are going to rewrite again y into the f inverse of x. Again, we rewrite y, or the variable y, into f inverse of x, and then copy the remaining expression, which is x plus 4. Therefore, the inverse of our first function is x plus 4. So this is our final answer for the first example. Okay, so let me erase now the writings because we will now move on to our example number 2. And for example number 2, it is a different form of a function. Okay, so I want you to see this one. Find the inverse of x cubed plus 8. So here is our given function, x cubed plus 8. And again, for the first step, we are going to rewrite f of x to y and copy the remaining expression. Now we have y is equal to x cubed plus 8. And for the second step, just the way we did on the first example, we are going to interchange the position of x and y. So x will be seen here and y will be seen on that position. So they will just interchange by one another. And you can see it here below that they are interchanging their positions. And if you're asking, sir, how about the exponent? Do we need to include the exponent? No, we don't need to include the exponent. Just the variable x and y. Again, just the variable x and y. That's why we have here x is equal to y cubed plus 8. After that, we solve for the value of y. So from this step, before you are going to look at the line below, I want you to observe it here. We apply again the property of equality. In this case, we are subtracting y cubed on the right, and at the same time minus x here, and then we have minus y on the left, and on the left also y cubed minus x. Okay, so there is a plus sign here, so we cancel out x and x, and at the same time, I mean negative x and x because they are an additive inverse. And we also cancel out y cubed and negative y cubed because they are just an additive inverse, which makes it 0. And for our remaining expression, as I confirm, it's gonna be, let me write it here, negative y cubed minus is equal to negative x plus 8. Okay, and you can see it there below, which is here. And after that, we are going to multiply it by negative 1 because the y cube is expressed in a negative sign. So we need to eradicate the negative sign there by multiplying negative 1. Therefore, negative 1 multiplied by negative y cube. So let me write here the next, the observation on how we do it. It's going to be y cube here, which is equal to x minus 8. Now we have this form. After this form, we're going to find the value of y by eradicating the exponent 3. As you can see, we have an exponent 3. We can only cancel out the 3 by expressing it into a cube root. Cube root of the left part, cube root of the right part, and you can see this one here. As you can see, it's here, this one. Okay, so let me erase this part because you can see it there below, how we express it into cube root. And once you're done expressing it into cube root, we cancel out here the cube root and the exponent 3. Therefore, the remaining value of our equation will be y is equal to the cube root of x minus 8. And since this is already a simplified form, we can now replace y by f inverse of x. That's why here below you have the final answer. F inverse of x is equal to the cube root of x minus 8. And that is our final answer for the second example. Moving on to our third example, we will find the inverse of the function f of x, which is equal to the square root of x plus 2 minus 5. And in doing so, again, we apply the step. So this is the first step. This is the first step. We are replacing or rewriting f of x into y. Okay, it's just the first step. And for the second step, as you can see, this is our second step here, this part. We interchange the positions of y and x, the position of y and x. As you can see it here below, x will be located here now, and y will be located there inside the radical symbol. And that is for the second step, interchanging their positions. Now, we need to solve again for y. And in this case, before we can solve for y, we need to extract our square root there. How do we extract or how do we eradicate the square root? By simply expressing our right side into the power of 2 and also on the left side. But before that, let us rewrite. From this second step, we are going to rewrite it by x plus 5, because a constant 5 here should be combined to our x, even though they are not similar terms, but we can still combine them so that it's easy for us to extract the square root, or the radical symbol. So we have it there, the square root of y plus 2. So this will be the step. After that, we're going to multiply it by 2 and multiply it by 2 so that we can, not multiply by 2, but we are going to express it into an exponent 2. Again, we express it into an exponent 2, or squared. We express it by squared so that we could cancel out the square root symbol or the radical symbol, and then the exponent 2, and then the remaining, you can see it here below how it looks like. That's how we cancel out. And then we're going to expand x plus 5 quantity squared, and in expanding that one, x, the square of x is x squared. 5 times x is 5x, times 2, it's 10x. And then the square of 5 is 25. And then the remaining expression on the right is y plus 2. Okay? And after that, we are going to subtract our left side by 2 and subtract our right side by 2. Okay, don't be confused by this symbol here. Okay, don't be confused. It should be minus 2 on the left, minus 2 on the right. So we cancel out this and we cancel out this one because it is equal to 0. Therefore, 25 minus 2 is equal to 23 as we simplify, or as we combine the like terms. Now we have the value of y already. After that, we rewrite y into f inverse of x, and we already have our final answer as I rearrange it again. f inverse of x is equal to x squared plus 10x plus 23. And that is our final answer. Simple as that. Again, the only thing that you need to be reminded of is how we follow the steps of solving an inverse function. Because if you are going to forget, or if you will not master the step, there is a possibility that you may come up with a wrong answer. Now, I want you to answer these three items. Number one, what is the inverse of the function f of x, which is equal to 5x minus 4? Number two, what is the inverse of the function f of x, which is equal to x cubed minus 25? And number three, what is the inverse of the function f of x, which is equal to the square root of x plus 9 plus 5? I want you to comment down your answer below for each item. Good luck, everyone, and that ends our presentation. Thank you so much and see you once again. I'm going to check your comments on our on the comments section. So please comment down your answer. Bye bye.